Hi, everyone. Like usual, we'll just let everyone rock in or roll in. And we have Ali with us. We have Prash. I should call you Prashant. I like Prashant better than Prash.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I'm happy with either.
So we're all super stoked to have you here, Prash.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you for coming on the live. We do these lives every week, and it's the A to Z of everything is energy with Reiki Soul Goddess and Healy with Harmonizer. That's Ali. So let's just quickly, whilst we're waiting for people to rock in and roll in,
right.
Let's just quickly talk a little bit about Prash, which what's Prash all about? Well, Prash is an energy healer. He is also a spiritual coach. He is a mentor, EFT practitioner, hypnotherapy, and there's also this other exciting thing that he does called combined therapy. I had to write this down. Combined therapy cocktail. And they're like 2.5 hour sessions. But what's interesting about this, peeps, is that he brings in other modalities into it and has integrated a number of things that enables you to tap into your guides. Am I explaining this properly, Prash?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Absolutely.
And, there's inner healing mixed in there as well. And also the ability for you to have more spiritual awareness. So it's a pretty exciting thing to do. So we have to try that out one day. So just quickly, are you keeping your eye on the chat, Ali? I'm trying to, here we go. We've got 11 people already on. We have just quickly.
13 people. Yeah.
So we might start soon, but we have Shamir, we have Marsha, Jolene, Zaka, Lauren, Karen. Hey, I've got all my soul family here. I've got Zaka, I've got Jolene. I feel like as if my soul family's here.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Joining us.
I think Shamir is joining from South Africa, and I'm pretty sure it's quite late there, but he's kept himself alive and awake for the live. So thank you, Shamir.
Oh, that is beautiful. And Addie saying hello. Also, I forgot to mention, this is a special live, super special live. And the reason why it is because we've also got Addie joining us very shortly, special guest appearance. Why is Addie joining us? Well, all 4 of us are Green Tara initiates, and we do a lot of meditation together. So we have something special, very special planned, where Prash is going to do a special activation for us towards the end of the live. But what's really special about this activation is that it's all about connecting with your guides. And if you're anything like me, half the times I connect with people out there in the astral realms and I have no idea who I'm connecting with, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that part, Prash. And so we've got beautiful...
Me too.
Yeah, we've got the beautiful Addie with us as well. So it's super special. I'm really super stoked for this. We've got quite a few
Addie's going to share her experience as well with Prash over the last couple of days, which is amazing. So, yeah, really looking forward to that. Sorry, Liz, to cut in. So, should we make a start? Okay. Should we make a start?
I think so. We've got Julian and Claudia as well that's joined us, and Rohaya. And if you like, peeps, just put any questions in the chat. We will address them at the end. Prash is more than happy to answer any question that you may have. So without further ado, Over to you, Ellie.
Which question shall I ask? So thank you so much for joining us tonight, Prash, or this morning for you. And it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you. And we've just connected so well, so quickly. And, you know, you feel like soul family. I feel like I've known you forever. And it's only been, well, you know, not that long, really. But,
yes.
but, you know, when there's a connection and, you know, you are very connected to the astral. You're very connected to guides. You have some amazing abilities that you've been fast tracked with. And it's so wonderful to have a man stepping into the divine masculine role and being fast tracked to being, you know, such a gifted practitioner who can then be a bridge for others to also connect to their guides and open up to their abilities and everything else. So let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into all the things that you do and let you do the talking. So could you tell us a little bit more about what you do, please?
Right. What I basically do is I over the time that I have started working in this field, I've realized that people come with different levels of connection to themselves. And I think at the end of the day, everything is about connecting to ourselves, because when we connect to ourselves, we allow ourselves to connect to the divine. So the very first step that I normally take with people is, bringing their energy in and allowing them to connect with their higher self. So, say, for example, people wake up with $100 of energy and then, they open their Facebook and then they see someone else living the life that they should be living and they've lost $10 there. And then, they'll go to their job and, they'll have an argument with the boss. They're not getting the right salary. People end up losing their power to things around them, right? Mm-hmm. And then we get stuck in that cycle. And what I do initially with CTC is allow individuals to get that power back. So when they get that power back, the $100 back to them, they're now in a position to spend those $100 to create the life that they want. When they have reached that stage of clearing blocks, fears, limiting thoughts that have held them back, they're now in a position to move on to the next step. Sometimes people are ready before that as well. And that can be a very beautiful thing. But I feel that once those blocks are cleared, it is a lot easier for people to step up. Now, the second step there would be to help them connect to the light inside of themselves, expand that light, connect to their energy centers, feel their energy centers physically, start building their senses, building their intuition, and then go on from there to say things which is slightly more advanced, like projecting their consciousness, connecting with intergalactic beings, guides, going on different journeys and understanding who they are, and in the process, uncovering their own gifts and their own reality. So that's in a nutshell, basically what I do.
Thank you. Very well summarized there. So it's nice to have an insight of the whole kind of journey and the different levels that people can come in on. So, I mean, really, it's for beginners and it's for people that are more advanced in their journey. There's something that you can still assist them with and support them with to still grow. Because, we're all always, looking to have that soul growth and expand our experience and knowing. So, what shall I ask next? So could you share some of your experiences so far with Ascended Masters and any takeaway messages that you've had with them? Absolutely.
One of the best or my greatest connections have been with Lord Sanat Kumara. And the very first time that I felt his energy, his frequency just felt like home. And I think one of the greatest experiences that I have had with any Ascended Master, particularly Sanat Kumara, is having them work on my energy centers. So as they come in, I often ask them to give me proof in the physical. And when they do give me proof in the physical, I'll ask them, hey, can you please come behind me and clear my auric field from behind me and push whatever is blocked out from my body, out in front of me and out of my energy field. And often as they do that, I can feel and sense them coming right behind me, and then pushing that energy. And as soon as that happens, I have literally come out of those sessions and manifested instantly the things that I have wanted, you know, whether it be a new job, whether it be an opportunity, you know, just literally coming out of those meditations and having that energetic release and having an instant manifestation. And I think that to me is the greatest proof in the physical of the power that these ascended masters hold and how much they're here to help you with the intention of love and the highest guidance.
Absolutely, and it's very, it is, and it's very important to, you know, have that intention and to know, you know, to pinpoint a certain thing, and then to maybe pinpoint what could be holding you back, what blocks or limiting beliefs you've got, whether they're from this life, whether they're ancestral from the family line, and we're here to clear it, whether they're from past lives and they're still held in our field, you know, we need to release that. So, so important. Could you tell us a little bit more about with the 4 kumaras, please?
Oh, absolutely. So the way that what I understand is, and this is of course from a little bit of Googling and a little bit of experience, is that that there are 4, or there were actually 7 kumaras. I only personally knew of the 4.
Oh, sorry.
Who took no, absolutely no, because they're worldwide known as the 4 kumaras. Okay. And of the 7 kumaras, 4 took a vow of renunciation in terms that they let go of their lives and the lives that they should have had, and devoted that to the ascension of the world, to the ascension of mankind, and for the ascension of Earth particularly. Now there is Sanat Kumara, there is Sananda. Sananda is often associated as the energy of Jesus Christ. There is Sanaka, and there is Sanatana. Now, personally, I have only ever made a connection with Lord Sanat Kumara and Sananda. I have had Sanaka and Sanatana in the room, but they have never personally interacted with me. They will come and they will stand very, very far away. But on top of, so they're all 4 sons, I believe, of Lord Brahma. Now, particularly, Lord Brahma has an incredible energy. I think in the Indian culture, he is known as the creator of the universe. And literally, when his energy, his presence is here, it is, I feel like it's like almost like a Formula One car, sort of just going past the house. It's that intense and dense a vibration. It's beautiful. Yeah. So they're the 4 kumaras, and of which we know Sanat Kumara and Sananda, or most people know them quite prominently and have interacted with them. And they're the highest guides here to show us how to ascend and how to be more in a state of love.
Oh, fantastic. Because I think when we've been talking, I might have had an experience with one of them, because obviously sometimes, as Liz was saying, when you have, you know, these amazing higher beings coming towards you, you know, you don't necessarily know who they are. And then you kind of learn this later and maybe make some sense of, you know, what they were trying to support you with or show you. We were talking about this, and I said to you that, you know, I was in meditation and I could feel them up to my left, sort of floating above me, and it felt like they were coming through into this dimension, and they were sort of having to push through and obviously lower their vibration for me to be able to see them. And I was obviously in an elevated vibration, and we were meeting in that middle, if you like. But it looked like they were in a ship, and I was like, who is it? And, you know, they looked a bit Palladian, but, you know, they also looked, you know, similar to the Ascended Masters that I'd seen. And you mentioned how they travel. Could you just talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So the way that I have seen Lord Sanat Kumara travel is that he travels on a spaceship. And the first time I encountered this spaceship, it looked like a planet to me, like a ball of almost solar light. And the funny thing was, I probably wasn't ready with my limiting fears inside of me, because every time I tried to go into that sphere of light, I felt like I was being pulled out of my body. And I would get scared and I would come back. So it was only later that I realized that there is a Merkaba spinning so quickly or so fast around it that I experience it as a ball of light. But what it actually is, once the Merkaba slows down and the energy slows down, you can actually see that there is a whole spaceship, which is the size of a planet in there. And a lot of people have experienced this and talk about this as a 13-pointed star, which is also known as the House of the Kumaras. And yeah, funny enough, it does look like that there are, different beams of light, maybe 13 if you would like to, be specific, coming out of that starship. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful experience.
That is so interesting that you say that, because obviously within meditations, and especially group ones, which are so powerful because we're all sharing our light and putting our light together and our energy together. I have seen, and I know some of the group have seen, a 13-pointed star, and I didn't understand what it meant. So you're kind of helping us join the dots here. And also in other ones around that time, I've seen lots of little Merkabas sort of coming towards me and thinking, well, I don't know who they are. So that kind of might have been them presenting in different ways. So that's really, really interesting. Thank you.
Just quickly, Ellie, before you jump to your next question, I just wanted to quickly jump in there. And so, Prash, what I find is that when I get a guide or an ascended master presenting themselves, they may present themselves with what I'm familiar with, right? So like a picture that I've seen on the internet of, this ascended master. So I get that vision first, but that's not actually what they look like. I just get that so I know that that's who I'm with. But then it quickly becomes more energy and more light and vibration and feel. Is that your experience as well?
Absolutely. You're so right that they usually take the form that we best associate them with. And I think that is true because they want us to know who they are. Right. Exactly. A lot of us, particularly me, for example, my clear audience and my clear vision are not as good as, say, for example, you and Ali. And for me, my greatest sense is feeling. So when I ask for their energy to come through and for me to be allowed to feel their frequency or their energy, what tends to happen is that their energy comes with an energetic signature. Now, when I try and project myself out of my body to see who has come and to be able to interact with them, often I'll see them, as you said, in the image that I best associate them with. Sometimes it'll shift from that normal that I know and might be slightly different. Sometimes I'll see them as a rays of light. I think at the end of the day, they will let themselves be known in the way that you best will be able to recognize them. So, I think in doing saying that, we will all have our own individual experience of relating to them and seeing them, but they will definitely let themselves be known in the way that we best associate to them.
Yeah, definitely. It's the energy imprint. It's that feeling that they give you. And I don't know where you guys feel that, but I tend to feel it across here. I mean, I feel when I'm getting activated there as well. But, right at the front of my crown here, and, sometimes across the top of my lips.
Wow.
Well. Different people, I will feel it in a different place. But it's also the speed that feeling comes in, and maybe the kind of trickle of the feeling, that the imprint that they're giving, the way they deliver that feeling as well. So fascinating.
Yeah, for me, it's more holistic. It's all the senses. Sometimes even smell comes into it for me.
Oh, wow.
So it's like I associate a certain smell with it. But it's surreal in the way that, they present themselves in a way that we're able to comprehend. But then again, sometimes I'll get the guide that kind of comes in, or, I can tell that it's an ascended master that's, mastered unconditional love that's come, but I can't work out who it is, because like I can feel that the energy is very different from what I've experienced, and that drives me crazy sometimes because I just think, who am I talking to?
It's so interesting, isn't it? Because like you said, they also can present in different ways. And, recently it's not been something I've ever experienced really, but I had orbs recently again. I've seen other people sort of sharing sharing orbs with me on video and things. And it's never been something, but for me, the other day I was working on some music in the studio and I'd been, in a meditation, and just the three of them, they just came and they were just sort of circling around, slightly different colors, like sailors. Yeah, so interesting. And then other ascended masters that I tend to not know who they are until they connect with me. So in meditation, I had Kuan Yin connect with me, and she kind of danced forward in a zigzag and then came up, made a real entrance. And, and she's so beautiful. And then she would just present sort of close up and I would see her face more so. And Mary Magdalene came in very strong and sort of said, who she was. And so, yeah, and they're all different, aren't they, like you say? So, just amazing. And Saint Germain tends to have, he came down, he was very powerful, and he showed me his beard, and he was like, look at my beard. I'm Saint Germain, And then every time I would the beard would stand out more for me, so that I knew it was him. So interesting. So I understand at the moment you're focusing on soul retrieval and kind of deep diving into that modality of origin activation.
That's right. Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about that, please?
So origin activation is a modality wherein what you do is you connect to the higher self of the individual that you're working with, and you allow that higher self of the individual to guide you to what needs to be done in their life. So whether it be a physical transformation, whether it be an emotional healing, whether they need to go out into outer space, you are guided by the higher self or their higher self to basically have a session with them, which is best for them. So, normally if I would go into a session, as I connect with their higher self, I have to leave myself behind and follow that guidance, because their higher self is showing me exactly what they need at that time. And so it's a modality, which is an excellent modality that allows you to give an individual exactly what they need at that point of time, no matter what it could be, whether it's just even sitting in silence and invoking energies that their higher self needs to interact with. And often miraculous things happen because the individual is getting exactly what their higher self intends them to get.
Wow, that sounds absolutely amazing, doesn't it, Liz?
Something I want to do.
And so within these modalities that you do, and just going back a minute to the CTC, the Combined Therapy Cocktail. So that's where, am I right in thinking that's where you connect us to our guides through different tools, or and that you can connect us, maybe bring through your guides and we can work with them, or you can connect people to their own guides. Is that right? Or could you?
It is quite right in a way. Often when I start to do CTC on an individual, even before I actually start the session, their guides or their family members will actually pop up. Particularly, usually it's people's grandparents, and they will let themselves be known. Sometimes I've not had this experience, but my mentor says that sometimes even to as much as the client might be wearing a ring or a piece of jewelry, and these guides will particularly come in and say, no, you have to remove this jewelry, and things like that, which basically assist in the process. But what happens is that with CTC, when they can collect their energy and when they can collect those $100 and bring their energy into the present, it now enables them more to be able to feel their guides, to be able to connect with their guides. I know, for example, one of the clients that I worked with, when he finished his session, he was a bit disappointed because he thought that, hey, I might be able to connect with my guides, and I feel that I haven't. But the fact that he had brought all of that energy to himself, and we worked through another process where I guided him on how he can expand his energy to be able to connect with his guides. As he started to do that, considering now that he had his $100 of energy, he felt and he noticed that it was a lot easier than ever before to connect with his guides.
So it's a process, isn't it? And obviously it's like anything. It takes practice, it takes attention, can't get my words out tonight, time and dedication, and, obviously being heart-based, and kind of exploring the journey, because not everything's going to happen like this, because obviously you're fantastic at what you do, but someone else has to put in that effort and that time as well to kind of reach that. But
absolutely.
So calling back the people's light to them, and I believe that also can open us up to past life abilities as well, and help us tap into things from past life, from maybe galactic lives or anything, things that we might naturally feel an affinity to, or just find ourselves being able to do and not know why. And I guess that can just kind of catapult somebody into to doing what they came here to do. So speaking of which, it sounds like you've already found it, but what do you feel currently is your purpose?
That's such a good question, Ali, because I noticed that the more I uncover, the more in myself, the abilities that I have, the more my purpose evolves as well. And at the moment, I think for the current moment, my purpose, and I don't know if this is the ultimate or if there is more, but my purpose is to connect both to my I am presence, which is something that I'm currently doing and strengthening that connection, and then to allow people to be able to connect to their I am presence as well. The I am presence that I have felt within me, or the few times that I have felt with the help of guides and ascended masters, has been a Christ consciousness, a state of love, a state of compassion that I have never felt before. And when you feel it, you know it. And it comes with some incredible powers, some healing powers particularly. And it is not limited to the self anymore. You can expand and send it outwards. And it's something that I'm exploring at the moment. And my greatest service to mankind, I think, at this moment would be to be able to help others become that presence and to be able to connect with themselves in that way.
Oh, I love that.
I love the way you explain that, because when I connected with my I am presence, 5 years ago or so, it came with a lot of unconditional love and also purpose driven. So it was like, boom, I know I'm a healer, this is what I've come here to do in this point in time, and this is why my soul chose to come here. And even when COVID happened and all the rest of it, there was a series of events that occurred for me personally that just synchronized beautifully with what was going on. And then COVID happened, I used to work in the mining industry, and then all of a sudden I had this sudden urge to resign. Never done that before in my whole entire life, but I was called to resign. So I resigned, and then all of a sudden I found myself in the Department of Health and Human Services working in state government again. And it was like, wow, there was a reason for that, because then COVID hit, and so I was called to do a whole heap of work. So it was really interesting how your higher self, and when you do connect with your I am presence, how your life does evolve in relation to that. And the other thing that you said that really I think is very, very spot on when it comes to energy work is that expansion. Because once you know how to expand out, you bring more and more into your biomagnetic field and within your sacred space, so you can work with it, and it can be quite healing, just not for you but for others. So you're spot on.
I love that you say that, Liz, because I know that there is, the best place to be in is the constant divine flow of giving and receiving. And I know that through my personal experience, that the more that you give, the more you receive. And the more you devote yourself to service of others, the more you fast track and expand. And whether it be the service of others, a service of Mother Earth, or service of source or your purpose, as long as you're serving, you're in a state of a higher being. And I think that is the beautiful giving and receiving that constantly happens. And that's where the magic of our spiritual life really begins to reveal itself.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's been my experience.
An absolute journey.
Well. Absolutely. So earlier when we had a little chat, we were talking about sort of intergalactic guides, because obviously there's all different types of guides, aren't there? So could we maybe sort of, go into that a little bit and, touch in on intergalactic guides? And you were mentioning sending cords and us becoming a beacon for them, which kind of calls them in.
Yes.
Could you go into that a bit?
Absolutely. So there are a few different levels of guides that I have come to at least understand with myself. And I think that is the same for everyone, is that we have our first level guides. And these guides are maybe people from our past lives, maybe people from our childhood that have moved on but are into the spirit world at the moment. For me, particularly, they're my grandparents, both my grandfather and my grandmother, and they were my first guides that I ever truly energetically connected with. And these guides are here to help you and work with you. But a step above that is, or could be higher level guides. Now, these higher level guides, or, your guardian angel, for example, would be someone who is overlooking or overseeing a higher picture for you. And above that as well is your high level guide. And your high level guide, or your highest guide, as in the book that I am reading, Opening to Channel, Oren explains, is your highest level guide, who is synonymous, I would say, to your I am presence, and here to see your overall earth purpose and allow you to remember who you are, why you've come here, what purpose you hold. And then there are other guides which are sort of parallel, I think, and these are your intergalactic guides. Now, of course, a lot of us here are starseeds, and we, even though we might not be starseeds, we might be source beings. We have a certain connection with certain star systems or intergalactic systems, and for me particularly, I know it's the Pleiadians. I have never ever felt a full connection to the Pleiadians, but I know that my guides, intergalactic guides, come from there. Now, with this activation, what will happen is that my intergalactic guides will come in, and they will, through themselves, their energy, and partially through me, be sending some intergalactic codes. Now, these intergalactic codes, as they reach you and as you open yourself to integrate with them, will basically make you a beacon. And your intergalactic guides up there, wherever they might be, will be looking at you now, shining or radiating that signal, and will make it more accessible to come to you. So whether they come to you in your sleep and you connect with them, whether it comes as a knowing, as a seeing, and whenever it happens, whether now or the next day or the day after, but it basically opens you up to signal to allow your intergalactic guides to then be able to connect with you.
Fantastic.
Now, Prash, are you a starseed? Are you a starseed, Prash?
That is an interesting question. And Liz, I believe I have roots somewhere in the Pleiadians, but particularly I am not a starseed. And I say this because I know that you definitely resonate very highly with Orion, if I've got that correct.
Yeah.
But for me particularly, no, I am not a starseed. I feel that I come from a place before that, and I am still discovering who or where that place might be from.
So, source being.
I think so.
You hope. Well, our soul had to originate somewhere, right? So, that's pretty cool. I was going to ask a question, but you know what? I might just jump over to Ali, because I've just been sidetracked, because you have a question in the chat. Addie hasn't arrived yet, but we do have a question in the chat, and it's from Shamir. And I'm just conscious of the fact that you said that it's probably really late for him. So did you want to answer his question?
Sure.
When you serve people to connect with their higher self, does that mean I can't make an earning of it? And it's a good question, because it's something that comes up in the spiritual community all the time, because there needs to be energy exchange, right? And money is also what I consider, or my relationship with money is that money is like energy. It's in and out. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested also to hear what you have to say about this, Prash.
It's an excellent question. Thank you, Shamir. And it's a bit of a curveball there, but the answer, I think, as you said, Liz, is that it's an energetic exchange. I feel that, what we have done individually as we have worked on ourselves, we have put in time, we've put in dedication, but more importantly, we've done that because how connected we feel and how much we want to experience this from the deepest place of our soul. And, our intention always is to allow other people to experience it as well. Now, when we go into a session or when we go into, say, connecting someone to their higher self with that intention, we're putting in our energy, the energy of our guides, the energy of the people, ascended masters guiding us. And I believe that there should be an energetic exchange. Now, sometimes, I know that I personally work with Shamir, and sometimes that energetic exchange would be, hey, I would do a session for Shamir, and Shamir would do a session for me. And no matter how the energetic exchange comes, there should definitely be an energetic exchange, because I believe that not only are we expending our energy as therapists, but also the beings that are working with us have to expend that energy. And if, we have to honor their dedication, and we have to honor their guidance there as well, energetically.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And money's just I was just going to say, money's just another form of exchange, because exchange can mean a lot of things. It could just mean like sending flowers or buying that person a gift, or, like you said, exchanging if the person does Reiki, or, like Ali and I, we're continuously exchanging, because Ali does healing on me with her Healy and vibration and frequency healing. And, every now and then I'll exchange by giving her a distance Reiki session. So there's an exchange, right?
Right.
And it is important, because if someone is just doing all the giving, as much as we love to give.
Eddie is just joining us.
Oh, fantastic. If we don't, then we will end up being depleted and obviously getting out of balance. Welcome, Eddie.
Hi, Eddie.
Oh, maybe she's just tapping in.
Hi, guys. I'm just checking the Facebook.
Hey, Angel.
Hello, you beautiful people.
So glad you could join us. We've been having a wonderful discussion with Prash. Hopefully you've been listening to it on your mobile.
Yes.
And so glad that you're here, because, we do want to hear about your experience with Prash. But before you start, just wanted to let those people out there know that Addie is the founder of the Green Tara Earth Guardians, and that's our sister group. And what we do within the Green Tara is a lot of meditation work and grid work. And it's our way as light workers, energy healers, therapists, to actually give back to Mother Earth. So all of us, this is very important work for all of us, because this is, like we were just talking about, exchange. So that segue was just beautiful, because it's our way of energy exchange with Mother Earth. So, Ali, I'm going to let you ask the questions again, and if you want Addie to talk about her experience.
Yeah. So earlier you were telling us, Prash, about this synchronicity with 33 and 1033. So I don't know who needs to, to how the story unfolds best, whether Addie tells us the story first and then you tell us the synchronicity, or whether it's best for you to open.
Okay. Maybe I'll just open. So, so as Addie and I were debriefing yesterday, and Addie mentioned that she was seeing the number 1033, and as she was saying it, I was seeing something, but I wasn't really sure what I was seeing. And after our call, as I sat down and I started to ponder over what I was seeing, suddenly I started to feel a presence and energy, which then guided me to something in the 10th code of the 33 codes. And And I wasn't really sure, but, you know, as I started to put my hands over the code, as I was reading it with my eyes shut, my fingers were energetically pointing me to certain words. And, you know, what I did was I collected those words as they came, and I sent them to Addie to see if they meant something to her.
Wow.
And did it, Addie? I'm excited now about this story. I haven't heard it.
Oh, she's muted. You're muted at the moment, Addie.
I know, so yeah, sorry, I had to run in the kitchen.
That's okay.
I wanted to say, first of all, I love you all so much, and all those beautiful souls who are listening as well, who, you know, are part of not only Green Tara, but obviously New Earth energy healing. Really magical times to be here on planet Earth on this, what I would call the rescue mission. Bringing planet Earth back to her alignment, bringing planet Earth back to her rainbow body. And so for me, you know, we work every day. We've been working every day for so long. And so I've known many of you. And Prashant joined us recently. The work that he does is absolutely incredible to me. And you all do incredible work. My experience with Prashant was that he actually is completely 100% capable of opening an energetic portal, which is absolutely 100% real, genuine, through which your guides come into your space. And so we meditated together when he opened this portal, and without me calling my guides, without me having even the intention of doing anything, my guides came to me in my meditation room. They filled up the room. And the way that it happened, it was so physical. They talked to me. They were transmitting even, you know, light language codes. Wow. They came with the scent that they come with for me. You know, I know it sounds strange, but I smell my guides also.
So do I.
Yeah, it's really useful. And so I was blown away. The thing was, though, that this portal didn't close when we stopped working. And so I went about my day. But that portal was still with me wherever I went. So I would go for a walk with my husband and the portal was above me. And the guides talked to me like 24 hours and they were doing so much work. And so for me, that's incredible, Prashant, that you have this, you know, superpower to do this. Yeah, well, thank you. I just really wanted to share it because to me, you know, that's really, truly authentic and just incredible. Thank you.
Addie, tell us about that 1033 code.
Yeah, sorry, I jumped ahead there with my question. So what was the synchronicity of the what was the message? What did it mean, the 1033?
So for me, I'm a seer, you know, in this lifetime, and I've been trained for many lifetimes to be a seer and to be able to see through my third eye. And so when beings want to communicate with me, they either are audible, so I hear them, or I see them. So this is, you know, I've been bringing through these 33 codes that actually are a collective effort for sure that will be igniting the new planetary grid. So when the codes were delivered, and I'm supposed to obviously, you know, distribute them around the world and create that energy around the world, which is what we're going to do. But I always wake up in the middle of the night and do my meditations because the ethers are very quiet. And so it's much easier to connect with your guides and with other worlds. And they actually appear above me in our bedroom. So I see them with my eyes open. And they just wrote in front of me 1033. And the next day I worked with Prashant and he brought in incredible guidance actually from the Rainbow Serpent about 1033. And it was spot on. It was 100% what I needed to know. And it's so interesting. It came through him, you know. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Addie.
And just to give some context out there to the people that are listening, so Addie has been giving us 30 codes, daily codes, 33 codes. We're done now. We've received all the codes. So that's all sitting in Green Tara, Earth Guardians, if you want to have a look at what we're talking about in terms of the codes, because it is quite interesting. And every day when the code would come out, we would anchor to Mother Earth and, you know, receive that message. So they were actually quite very, very powerful. Like, you know, we've been doing this work for a long time and the resonance with me was very, very high. So yeah, I recommend going in there and having a look at those codes.
Definitely divinely guided, and it always felt like the experience and the message that you were getting that day is exactly what you captured, but with, you know, a more divine insight as well, and the message that we needed to understand what we were experiencing in that day. So yeah, just so important, as you say. And once you're making a book, aren't you, Addie, for those?
Yes, I am. And you can find them on our website as well. We have greentower.group, but I would love to go back to Prashant because this is his show.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Addie.
So, what else? Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, Prashant, before we fire any more questions at you or anything else? Anything else that you feel called to share?
Maybe you can fire a question at me, and
you can think of something. Through. Yeah. So let's just backtrack a little bit, because obviously we're talking about where you're currently at, and what you're currently offering, and being of service with. So when did you have an awakening? As far as I understand your dad is a yogi, and that he kind of had an awakening with that. So that obviously that must have had an influence. And, have you had a dark night of the soul or anything that kind of woke you up, that kind of thing? When did things start happening to you that were multidimensional, but obviously not on the level you're at now with this, massive, profound shift? But, and any little kind of histories that you maybe any little stories that you want to maybe tell us?
Sure, absolutely. I come from an Indian family, and Indian families are very astrological in their governance. When you're born with a birth chart, and often your life will follow that birth chart, right?
Oh wow!
And I think more than anything else, it is from a early age you are told that this is how your life is going to be, and energetically you're expecting it. And as you energetically expect it, so you create it, I'm
sorry, I've just got cut in. I had no idea this was even a thing. Sorry, carry on. I find this fascinating.
Right. So when I was younger, my at least the one that I have access to, or I have had access to, my life chart does not show anything. So for when I was young, I basically had no abilities, like when I hear people's stories about astral travels and this and that, I had a very normal childhood. My dark night of the soul came very, very early in my years. And my dark night of my soul taught me how to meditate and to self-reflect. And as I meditated from a very early age, I started to notice a lot of change in me. And then I think from my teens all the way to my my early 30s, I should say, there was a constant battle between, but when I meditated, I saw that there was someone I was meant to be. And from that young age, all I wanted to do was defy that in whatever way possible. So I spent all of my time trying to not be that person. And as I was not being the person that I was meant to be, my soul found its way of shaking me. So experience after experience, illness, disease, my life not moving forward the way that it should have, led me down, I would say, a timeline which accelerated my journey and shook me to the core until I could no longer ignore the message which was out in front of me, which, funny enough, also brought me to Australia and eventually guided me to training under my mentor, with whom when I trained, a lot of my opening happened. It wasn't, I didn't go there for the opening. I was going there to learn modalities, but in the process, just being in that energy space for 16 days, and the dedication that my mentor brought in allowed something instantaneously to awaken within me, which is, I've had my dark night of the soul, but my ability or my journey actually started on October 31st of 2020. So it's been fairly new for me.
That is a fast track indeed, isn't it? Look at everything you can do already.
That's activation. It's like that.
Yeah. What are you going to be able to do in a year's time? You know, it's wow, just wow. And yeah, so opening portals questions. And things. Oh, yeah, go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say there's another question in the chat from Laura, and she's saying, how do we book a session? CTC.
Right. To book a session, basically, it's just on my Facebook page. What I normally tend to do is, you can message me personally or on my Facebook page, which is Crash.Gandwani. And then I normally do a discovery call. And before the discovery call, I'll tap in and figure out what I pick up intuitively, but also when I talk to you, understand what's going on, what areas of your life I can help you with. And then basically, get together at your earliest and do a CTC session. So the booking is all pretty much through Facebook at the moment. Soon to go on the website, but on Facebook at the moment.
Fabulous. So we can include all your details, obviously, within...
We will, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And I really want a session as well. I'm sure Liz does.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Ellie, I keep interrupting all the time.
No,
so what's the next question? Yes. Liz and her interruptions. but I'm just been keeping my eye on the chat, and some of the
and I haven't,
comments that are coming. Well, some of the comments that are coming through are just like pretty spot on. Like just quickly, like Jolene saying, I think a lot has grown super fast like that. It's a lot of us, I think she's saying, have grown super fast like that. It's the time that we're living in, right?
Absolutely.
And, we've also got a comment from, I've got to go back to it because it was a really good comment. Damn it.
Oh, it's not gone off the screen, has it?
Yeah, it's jumped off the screen. But, like everyone's really resonating with you because, a lot of us are going on the journey, and we're all at different stages of the journey. Some of us, like, I always say to Ali, she's like miles ahead of me. I'm still trying to run and catch up to her. But, it's like we're all at different stages. But I guess what's really good about what you bring to the table, Prash, is that you can assist at whatever stage you're at, in your soul evolution and your spiritual growth. So it's like super exciting, right?
So exciting. And all these different level, guides that you were talking about, like obviously, most people are familiar that they've got a guardian angel. And in the last year, during 2020, a lot of us have discovered that we have intergalactic and galactic guides as well. So that's very interesting. And it's so interesting that it also kind of comes in waves. It's like at 1 minute, they all seem to be coming at you and you're getting activated all the time and sort of thinking, it's just stop already. And then it sort of slows down and you think, oh, nothing's coming through. So it's really nice to kind of, have more insight into that, to be able to know how to tap in, to understand, for people to understand what you were saying about pushing their energy out and having more light and kind of becoming that beacon, and just having that understanding and communication with their guides, so that the guides can do what they want to do, which is help us, right, and help our soul growth, and all of that. So cool. I've flown through my questions
Ellie,
here.
Let's ask one more question, and then after that
do the activation.
Do the activation.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for this activation. And I think a lot of our listeners are as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, you want me to give another question? Oh, right, sorry. I'm about to ask one. So I'm not sure if this is something that you can answer, if it's a silly question or not, or whether it's just something that you've just found that you can do. But how do you throw your consciousness out of your body?
Okay, that's an interesting, very, very interesting question. I can actually answer it. So there are a few ways of throwing your consciousness out of your body. I know that particularly throwing your consciousness just in front of your forehead is what comes to people quite naturally. And this is what I thought I was doing, or this is what I thought I was meant to be doing. But when I first learned about throwing my consciousness, in fact, there is a story behind it. When I first wanted to connect with Babaji through a friend of mine who could throw her consciousness, I would think of it like throwing a boomerang, that you throw a boomerang and then suddenly something comes back to you, or the boomerang comes back to you. And that's what I thought it was, until the process was sort of very vaguely described to me. And I thought that the consciousness, instead of being thrown here, what I understood was going out of the crown chakra. And so I asked my friend, hey, can you help me connect with Babaji? And she's throwing a boomerang. It comes back with an answer saying that, no, you have to do it yourself. And I was like, okay. So I tried, and I tried to imagine what would be a place out there in the universe where I could throw my consciousness. And basically what it is imagine if you extend your hand out, and imagine that you had an eye on your hand. And if you were to look at the world from that eye, you're basically projecting your consciousness in a way. And you start with something like that. And so I would imagine, okay, I'm putting my consciousness on my crown chakra, then slowly up above and above until I could go further up into space, and eventually found a spot that I think is my sweet spot, where I see an overview of sort of the galactic space. And I would go there and I would call an ascended master. And the first one I connected was with Babaji. And from there, as I invoked their presence through, I would say, that portal, their energy would come in straight into my body. It was only later that I realized that I can also do the same thing with my different chakras. So if I was now, instead of throwing the energy or my consciousness from my crown chakra, if I threw it from my third eye or from my heart center, I could see, or the difference would be that the way that they came from the portal was not through my body, but out in front of me. And because now that they were coming out in front of me, it allowed me to interact with them rather than just hold on to their frequency. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I find that if you want to contact someone, say from the 8th dimension or the 5th dimension, or probably from 5th to 8th, I find it's got to be from the heart center.
I was just about to say that. How funny.
Yeah, and well, we're twins, so I would imagine we do exactly the same. But anything higher or galactic or something specific, for me, it's like I project from crown chakra and use my soul star chakra. So it's true, like different chakras, different ways. But I have found though that, you know, when I do my light language and I open up, it has to be from the heart. It's going to be heart-centered light. It's interesting what you just said. Like I resonated with that, every bit of it.
Yeah,
and it's also how Alec described it to me as well, in terms of like spiritual awareness, because I was doing a lot of this naturally, but I didn't have terminology around it, which was what Alec, my mentor, brought to the table for me, because, you know, he explained it to me, because it was like, I'm finding it really hard to put all these pieces together, but I know I'm experiencing this, but I just didn't understand it. So I think that's what's really special about spiritual coaches, because we're humans. We need to make sense of everything, right? To be able to have that full experience. I was still having the experience, but I wasn't having a full experience until someone explained to me the different terms and what it was that I was doing to connect and, you know, expand my energy. So I just thought I'd add that.
When you can make sense of it, you're not questioning it anymore, because as humans, obviously we do. And then you can just flow with it, can't you? And you can just embrace and fully embrace the experience and let the energy flow and the experience go deeper or higher. Depending on what
deeper or higher to the sides.
I was going to say something about the heart, but I can't remember what it was now. I think you were talking about working within the sacred chamber and going into the heart space before. Is that something that you want to quickly discuss before we do it, or do you want to just get into the? Okay, cool.
Absolutely. So normally when and this is a part of the modality that I have learned from origin activation, which is that when I realized that there are two ways, particularly of connecting and opening yourself to the intergalactic frequencies. I mean, there are many, many, many ways, but these are the two ways that I am usually guiding people to their intergalactic experiences with. And one of them is basically accessing your third eye and then going down from your third eye into your heart chakra. So it's like a third eye and heart chakra connection. And each chakra, energy manifests in the chakra first. For example, reality that is around us is an energy or a frequency, and that frequency first manifests in our chakra reality before it comes out to manifest in our physical reality. When we can go into the chakra space, for example, the inner heart space, and be able to not only access multi-dimensional realities from there, and alternatively, if I'm to guide someone from their third eye out into the chakras above them so that they can also from there experience the intergalactic space, what tends to happen is that there needs to be a lot of clearing done to be able to initially be able to feel that expansion that they have not felt ever before. And whilst that clearing can be really, really powerful, the most powerful part is that your higher self will guide you. And it's a great place to actually meet and connect with your higher self, which is your inner heart. But your higher self will guide you into seeing and experiencing things in these realms that you need to experience, the energies that you need to connect with, your star family, your soul family, perhaps, and have experiences that allow you to feel more aligned with your center, with the divine presence inside of you. So going and making that connection from the third eye and the heart center, I think is quite sacred. And I know that you have obviously had experience with that, Ali. And how divine that experience can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, with these galactic chakras as well that have kind of come online during this time for all of us. I mean, we're all having ascension symptoms. We're all kind of, going through periods of being really activated and having loads of high vibe energy and being really in flow and kind of having all this, knowing coming in and abilities and things like that, and experiences with beings and all the rest of it, to feeling completely washed out, having aches and pains, having different chakras sort of being very painful. For me, the main one was I think it's called the Well of Dreams or the Zeal chakra, which is the base of the neck. Oh, yes. That one's been the killer for me, really painful. And, sort of in the years that led up to this, before I kind of got fully activated for this whole starseed thing and the whole, the journey that we've all been brought together for, was... I've completely lost my train of thought now, what I was going to say. Yeah. Oh, that was it. Yeah. It's this thing that everyone's getting painful, sensitive hearing and the high pitched ringing and stuff. I've been having that for years. And because I work in sound, all I did before this, and I taught singing in musical theatre and I sang in bands and all this kind of thing to do with sound. My ears were very sensitive if it was a loud noise, and to the point where, and then my hearing sort of went a little bit and I was thinking, oh my God, I've got hearing damage. And I actually went for hearing tests and everything. At one point, just because I was in so much pain and trying to understand what was going on. And then as soon as all this happened and everyone started talking about their ears, I was like, oh, that'll be why it was so painful. Now actually listening, now I can make sense of it and then I can just let that go and let that flow. And then when sort of, I was connecting with my I am presence and my higher self, in that period of waking up or going to sleep when we're a little bit more kind of in that brainwave, is it a theta brainwave? I think it's called
theta wave.
Theta, yeah. That's when my own presence would first start coming in, and I would just literally see a face right in front of me, like sort of a shadow, but right up close. And I think, wow, what's this? And I could hear them. I could maybe see them, or they just give me a knowing, just tell me, so you need to do this. And sometimes if I'd go to sleep and be, what is my purpose? What should I be doing? Because I really want to be of service and I don't know, am I doing the things I should be doing? Because we all want to be making a difference, right? And we all want to be doing what we came here for, you know, and they keep it very clear. And they just said, be artistic. Times. Or I'd wake up from a very deep dream where I'd been in another realm doing work, or, you know, in the astral, come back, and as I'm waking up, they'd say, you're a hybrid. You're a hybrid. Just sort of say it maybe 3 times. So that's been my experience of the I am presence, you know, very short and to the point, very keeping it clear. So there's no, you know, room for interpretation. This is the message. And I'm right here. And, you know, and then obviously working with, you know, in meditations and working with Addie and Patricia, you know, and focusing on our I am presence, feeling the beautiful activations in all the different, you know, all the different suns and the discs, you know, that we have within our chakras, you know, when you really expand out. So that's enough of me waffling on. How do you want us to prepare for this? Do you want us to just go quiet while you create the space, or are you going to talk us through it to start with?
I'll talk you through it, and I think maybe before we start, maybe we should have. I'll just place a little intention in here, and the intention is that for us to all hold space, but not just for each other, for every being who ever comes across this video and wants to connect with their guides and wants to feel their connection, understand their world and their place, because with the light that we have now, it is no longer here for the individual. It is no longer here for those that have to sit out in the Himalayas and meditate for hours and months and years. It is here for this magic, is here for every one of us to experience. And the more we experience it, the quicker we ascend, into a new earth. And for us to be that connection, the point of connection between source and earth, and to channel this light down as we start to invoke it within ourselves by understanding who we are. So understanding that we are placing now this intention to allow each and every individual here present, and each and every individual that will ever be present here in this space to connect. And as we do so, as we place that intention, we close our eyes and start to focus on our breathing. And as we do so, we imagine that we all sit around an energetic circle. Focusing now on the light inside of us, between our chest. And with each breath now, as we breathe in, we consciously breathe in energy from the source, coming in from my crown, integrating with that light. And adding to it now, as we breathe out, we expand that light. We expand that light that we are. As we now strengthen our connection to this light, we strengthen our connection to our higher selves, to our I am presence. with my intergalactic guides now standing beside me, I ask you to energetically, in your mind, give a yes, just energetically, to my guides, for you to receive these intergalactic codes that will assist you in connecting with your own guides. And I now ask my guides to stand in this circle, in the middle of this circle that we have created. And to send these intergalactic codes to each and every one of you. Opening yourself and allowing yourself to receive this now. As you start to feel the energy of these codes, you might receive them in your own unique way. You might see them, you might hear them, you might feel them, or you might just know. Just allow yourself to receive them. We now ask angels, archangels, ascended masters to increase the vibration of this space, to assist us so that we may better be able to receive and integrate these codes coming in. as these chords are now being integrated in you, just energetically send a thank you to my intergalactic beings, my guides, to assist us in this process today, holding a space of gratitude within you and love to meet your own guides. Just holding that energetic signature of love. As we seal now this space with the energetic signature of love. Knowing now that your guides will communicate with you as you resonate this beam of light into the intergalactic space. All you need to do is hold the desire, the love in your heart. Connect with that light as often as you can and know that your guides will reveal themselves to you. Coming slowly back into this space, into this time, into your body. And just gently bringing your attention back onto your breath, into your body, allowing yourself to integrate. And when you're ready, just taking a deep breath in, and as you exhale, opening your eyes.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I came out of that probably a little bit quicker than you, but it was funny. I did that as well and thanked 3 times as we're taught in Reiki, and brought myself back a little bit quicker as you opened up your eyes, maybe 5 seconds after me. That was amazing. And I just want to say you're very much a bridge, because what I get visions, just putting that out there, and you're very much the bridge, because before those intergalactic codes decided, I was allowing to receive it, I very much saw a bridge between absolute or relative and absolute universes. And it was very much a golden spectrum bridge. And it was streaming straight through me, straight into heart center, and I could see it pushing out already. And the galactic codes, and it's probably a perception thing. I don't know what everyone else experienced, but for me, I could actually see the light language. But then I do light language, so maybe that was what, worked
Tell us
for
in
me.
the comments. Tell us in the comments what your experience was. Share with us. And obviously, if you've got any questions for Prash, then put them in the comments. But for me, it was very much a feeling experience overall. And like you, Liz, I got a lot of gold coming in. I always get gold though, don't I? So it's like, that's my thing.
That's
but
what Ale said. Ale said gold.
Yeah, exactly. So which tells me that it is higher beings, that it is, a very high connection. Yeah, I mean, I knew you were authentic anyway, but it just kind of, it cements that. And I did have a couple of faces come in earlier.
Same here.
Earlier, when you said about your guides were coming in, obviously I could feel their energetic imprint, and I could see a very feline being right up close to my space with very slanted eyes. I don't know if that is one of your beings or not, or whether it's one of mine, but that's what came in for me right up close here. And they were there for quite a long time. Does that mean anything to you, a feline being?
A feline being has come in a few times, yes. I think particularly the feline being in this situation has come in particularly very succinctly to connect people to their Lyrian star families. And if there is a Lyrian starseed here, then it will definitely come and reveal itself that way.
And also Spiker, I was picking up as well. There's obviously several feline races. I mean, probably more that we're not even aware of. But I'm also aware of the Spiker family, which apparently I have connections to, as well as Lyran. So I haven't had that for a while. So that was really lovely, actually, to have some feline energy come in. And I don't know, when you said about receiving the codes and everything, I literally just felt like I'd been plugged in, like in my head, and I could just feel them pouring into me. Did you feel that, Melissa? And like around me as well, coming into my body.
Just the whole light language kind of like washing down. But just reading some comments quickly. So Rohea, I hope I'm saying the name right. Thank you so much, she says. The left part of my body felt a warm energy or some kind of presence and tingles. And Jolene says, I feel light language for him too. And she also says he's very connected to angels. And Jolene is a bit like me. We get a lot of visions. Laura, she says, gold light pulsating in my third eye and a lot of heart expansion.
Wow.
And Leonie said gold pulsing circles of energy. Yes, spot on. Jolene says Arcturian's Jesus and my blue avian came to me.
Oh, wow, amazing.
Sasha says, as happens lately, I went to God's city and there was lots of golden and huge beam of rainbows. So yeah, Sasha, I think that beam of rainbow was the bridge, because I saw that prior to the intergalactic codes. You're very much the bridge, Prash.
Thank you, Liz.
And Karen, yes, my son sees eyes shifting to cats. So I think a lot of people picked up on that feline energy. And Claudia says, thank you, so amazing, such gratitude. Yes, gold, many masters. And she said, I am Lyrian.
Oh,
happiness.
And Sasha said, Jesus and Saint Benito, also Saint Germain was with me. Oh, beautiful.
Saint Germain did come through.
Love your soul, sis.
Briefly, yes.
Yeah, I felt Saint Germain in there as well.
I felt two faces come in the middle that kind of came just presented together. Does that mean anything to you? Before anyone else gives any more names a minute. I don't know who else came in for you, but I could just see these two faces, sort of one slightly further back from the other. Okay, sorry, Liz. Carry on.
No, sorry, got a bit of a rasp in my voice. I was just going to say that depending on who your guides are, you probably, like some people probably did see their guides after that, or their guides were with us when we were receiving. It's funny that you mentioned the feline, the Lyran energy, Ellie, because I've received quite a bit of Lyran activation codes. So I know that energy, I know that feeling, and it felt the same for me. So I'm glad that you tapped into that.
Especially last year around the Lion's Gate, especially coming up to that. Yeah. And I think it was around that time that I got a birth chart done. You know, you have these things done, and some people believe in it and some people don't. I do believe that it can tell some of your placements, some of your incarnations, but I don't know whether it can necessarily say your origin, which is obviously more what you help us connect to. But it's all pieces in the puzzle, isn't it? And it's all opening us up to all the different things to learn. But yeah, I had, other faces coming in. I'm not sure who they were, but I'm quite excited to find out. And it's just like you said, being open to, and I was just thanking them. I was thanking your guides. And then you said, if everyone could thank them. And it was that whole thing of just providing that journey, that we're there with you, but then you're the voice for that. And you facilitated it so well. And you just opened up the container so well and brought everything through. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm very excited. We'll carry on talking in a minute, but I'm just going to say now, I'm very excited to say that Prash has agreed to, well, you're happy to make this a regular thing. So obviously, yeah. So not obviously every week because, you know, we all have busy lives and things, but, you know, special kind of monthly thing to have like an activation or a journey or, you know, whatever you feel guided to provide for us, really, whatever comes through, you know, from your guides or you feel is what we need at the time. So we're really excited for that and really grateful that you're joining us on this journey and that we've all connected. And and that's, you know, going to coincide with either energies that are happening at the time, shifts that we're going through, or whether it be maybe to the new moon or the full moon. But we'll just see. We'll see what feels right, and we'll take it from there. So
I would also sorry, Ali. I would just also like to add that the portal is going to be open for as long as it needs to be open, as long as I'm guided to keep it open. And at the moment, it is open. So, you know, as you go on about your day, you will have experiences, you will be connecting more, and, you know, just to open yourself to it and, you know, think of this as an opportunity of your guides and, you know, your ascended masters and to just basically come in and say, yes, you know, I know you're ready. I know you've got your heart open and I'm here to help you. You know, so yeah, just bathe in that experience. I think it's going to be incredible today. There's beautiful energy today, and so much beautiful energy came in as a collective when we did this.
Absolutely, and I'm feeling that, and I feel, to be honest, I mean, I'm getting tired because obviously it's nighttime here, but I feel very activated as well, and it's that kind of that's why I've got a weird energy now because I feel very activated and kind of. Juliet said, very aware of the whole world coming together, cosmic. I don't know what that word is, interrelations, all realms unite, omnipresence. But she's written it as omnipresence. Very clever play on words there, Juliet. And Lauren said she got a lot of purple and blue energy and it turned into vertical stripes and she saw a saucer ship, an almond eyeball. I saw the almond eyeball. That's what I was seeing as well, Lauren. Yeah, definitely. Wow. And a love feeling. She was tapping into that. And I think we all felt that, didn't we? It was just...
Absolutely. Excuse me.
Beautiful.
Let's also remember to ground the energy today and send Mother Earth.
Very important,
The more we serve, the more we receive.
Yeah. Stick with it as much as you can, people out there. Don't switch it off. Try and sit with this portal being open for as long as you can. If you're feeling spaced out, you know, get your bodgy stones or get a grounding crystal and ground. But I would definitely recommend sitting with it for at least, you know, for most of the day or night. In your case, Ellie, it's
or maybe be creative
sleep, right?
as well. Create something because we're creative beings, and obviously we're getting this light coming in. Yeah. So you know, create something, put it into sound. You know, put it into art, put it into anything. You know, write down words. You know, just feel guided, and you know, share it with the people around you, and obviously with Mother Earth.
We need to wrap up because we've been an hour and a half. Gosh, time flies when you're having fun. Just one thing I wanted to say is, so Prash does Reiki, right? So he would have learned that we are taught to be a bridge, right, between absolute and relative universes. And so that's why we give people mystical experiences, just not for ourselves, but for the person that we're treating. So what has been special about this activation is that the energetic portal has come through the fact that Prash is that bridge, right? So you will find that today, for the people that are lucky enough to have their day still ahead of them, a lot of situations, events, and people are going to present themselves to you for your highest good. So just be on high alert, because that's what the Reiki energy, like we call it Reiki, but energy, it's all the same. Reiki is energy. So it's, universal energy. So that's what it's going to do. So, just sit with it. I think it will be something that you'll be very grateful for, that you did sit with it and not switch it off. Just to quickly,
and for the days to come as well. It's not just going to finish, is it?
Yeah, quickly. Yeah. It will linger, but I always find that when the portal's still open, that's when the event situation. Or
I think maybe then for those in a different time scale to you, in a different time zone to you, is putting out those intentions and kind of putting out those desires of what we want to attract into our life. But also, as Prash said, what he's doing is making us a beacon, and he's connected us to them. So now, even when the portal closes, I mean, obviously you can ride it out all day, but even when it closes, we're still going to be that beacon, and we're still going to be attracting and sending out and emitting light and emanating light. So I'm going to ride this out for as long as I can, Liz.
So good things always come to an end, and so we're going to have to wrap up this live. But
thank you
just
so
quickly,
much, Prash.
Yeah, we've got some just quick announcements. Like Ali said, we've got some pretty super exciting stuff coming your way on the A to Z. The A to Z, everything is energy space. So just make sure, you keep an eye on it. So I think you'll be pretty excited with what we've got planned, because, it's our way of giving back to the spiritual community, and all of this is done with a place of compassion and very heart-centered. So keep your eye on those. Special announcements will be made fairly shortly. If not already. I think Ellie's already said that we're going to do the monthly thing. So, Prash, it's been an absolute pleasure. Can't thank you. I can't thank you anymore. It's like, thank you. It was.
I can't talk.
I feel activated, like I'm still on cloud 9. Thank you so much.
You're absolutely a blessing.
Thank you, Ellie.
And welcome to the family.
I did wear my green colours today.
Oh, marvelous!
I wanted to represent
Green Tara.
Yeah.
And New Earth, and I've got my roses to represent the divine feminine, like Mary Magdalene and everything.
That's amazing. I also wanted to say before we left that how grateful I am to have found Green Tara, and how welcome I feel in this family, and how important I think, particularly for me, the work that Addie, the work that you, the work that Green Tara and all the people at Green Tara are doing is so important to Mother Earth, and how aligned I feel with this vision and this goal. And I just can't thank you enough. My spiritual progress has catapulted to a new dimension ever since I have joined Green Tara, and I can only offer my deepest gratitude for everything that you have given me and how welcome you make me feel here. So thank you so much, Liz and Ali.
Oh, and thank you.
Yes.
And Addie, thank you. And
thank you to Addie for coming on, of course. I got so engrossed in the activation, I forgot then.
Thank you, Addie, that's right. So for those people that don't know, Green Tara Earth Guardians are our sister group. And so they're the meditation side. They're all about giving back to Mother Earth. What we do in this group in New Earth Energy Healing, it's more about the healing side. It's the inner healing. It's about learning about different modalities and how to integrate them for wholeness of mind, body and soul. So thank you. We're going to end here, and happy Valentine's Day for the Australians out there.
Much love to everybody.